Shiffrin now goes through her start routine as we get underway here in Solden for World Cup #1 of 9. And Michaela Shiffrin is underway. First look at real speed through this opening top section. Settles down nicely, looks to try and get some clean calves working early on. Very smooth from transition through this opening flat section. There's that first small roll, brings the athletes towards the steep pitch. Good setup coming through over onto this steep pitch. And here she goes. This camera angle really doesn't do it justice. This is incredibly steep and incredibly icy. You can see her just making sure that they're getting some of the turn done above the top of the turn. Some judder ruts that won't necessarily affect her run yet, but it will certainly build from racer to racer. And so bib 1 really is the hot ticket here in Solden. Through into the dark section, good transition off the steep and onto the flat, carrying good speed now from Michaela Shiffrin as she gets low to try and set down the marker for the rest of the field to try and better. But Shiffrin has had a great run so far. Shiffrin crosses the line, 1:02.82, and that is the benchmark for the rest of the ladies here. She, like us, doesn't quite know how good it is just yet. We'll have to see how that stands up against the other competitors. But error-free, kept a high line through the steep section, which was all important. Good, solid positioning over the outside ski, and Shiffrin. Lara Cooper, resurgence back towards her best form last season. So good to see this young lady back battling with the world's best. She has one of the most aggressive styles on the World Cup Tour, and you can see that is already coming into her own. These early turns, a 10th to the good for Lara Cooper. Has a tendency to chuck the skis sideways severely on these steeper sections. You can see that pivot early on in these turns. It's a technique that she's used throughout her whole career, and it's such a delicate balance between too much braking and too much good positioning. But she's doing incredibly well there. Just lost a few hundredths, but she's still absolutely flying down here. Lara Cooper is absolutely on fire here this opening race. Great low aerodynamic tuck position, and Cooper 200ths in front of Shiffrin. What a run from Cooper showing that she's continuing that form from last season. Smooth and calm, drawing on those speed racing skills through that final section to keep the speed. Quality work. Look at that great separation between upper and lower body, allowing the skis to bite into this injected piece. What a run from Cooper. Michelle Gibson, only one World Cup win to her name. Giant slalom. Overall champion from last season. New coach for 2021-2022. The powerful athlete from Slovakia gets her campaign underway to defend this overall globe. Very powerful ski racer. Finds herself surprisingly a quarter of a second down, not quite as smooth at the top part of the turns through the flat. There's an error, pushed onto the heels just as she entered onto that steep section. She's going to have to work hard, find some feeling. Lost the outside ski on that left foot as well, not quite as smooth and error-free as we're used to seeing from her. 0.73 off the pace. She can try and, well, it's another low and late line. That's going to cost her a couple of hundredths as well, but she's going to have to try and draw on these power reserves to try and bring some of that heat into the finish. just keeping it under 3/4 of a second for Petra Vlhova. She's got some work to do come run 2. 1:03.61, 1:03.61. She moves into third, 0.8 off the pace. You'd hope to have been a little bit closer, but got away with some scrappy skiing as the power needed to get out of the back seat from Petra Vlhova there as she rolled over onto that steep section. Cooper. Lara Cooper Army. Last few moments for her before she gets ready to go, warming up the back. Michaela Shiffrin. Activation work. Petra Vlhova. Overall Globe winner from last season. New coaching setup for the Slovakian, for the world #1. Solid on that left foot, nice and smooth. Nice positioning again through that offset turn, builds another 4/10 that advantage, over a second now over Tveberg, who still leads in the finish area. Slight line error as she came over onto the steep, but hasn't panicked. And that's what's important. You make an error, don't panic. Get back to racing, clear the mind and go back to what you're supposed to be doing. It's a slight line error, getting low and late in the line, has to use that strength, use that power to try and find it back onto the optimal racing line. And she's halved that advantage, but still has half a second as now Vlhova comes across onto the flats, looks to try and tap into some gliding skills that she's been working on so hard over the last couple of seasons, down to 4/10 as Vlhova now comes towards the finish, a little low and late on that banana turn, but can she hold it? Yes, she can. 1500s for Petra Vlhova. She takes the lead. Long-time leader Tveberg moves down into second position, and Hrovat of Slovenia is in third, with Tessa Worley now down to fourth. But Petra Vlhova manages by the skin of her teeth, after some good work on the top, to hang on to that advantage and take the lead with only 5 competitors left to go. Tveberg sits in third in the finish area with 2 left to go. And the biggest name in women's ski racing, arguably the biggest name in ski racing, Michaela Shiffrin, is on course with a massive margin of advantage at the top, nearly 0.8 of a second, as Michaela Shiffrin easily negotiates that tricky left foot turn. Another perfect turn through these first few, and she's built on that advantage. Quality stuff from Shiffrin. The technical skill that this lady has at her fingertips is insane, and she's putting that down on the piste right now. Lovely turns through that middle section. Nice and calm, but dynamic at the same time. Great purchase early in the turns, just needs to keep it tidy. Clean, aggressive. Great turns here from Shiffrin, and she's carried most of that advantage, 0.84, as she looks to try and bring the speed across the flat. Nice and smooth from Shiffrin. Look at her go. Michaela Shiffrin looking to send some messages to the top. Looks to put the pressure under Cooper Army. She's going to take the lead, but by how much? Shiffrin takes the lead by 1.3 of a second. That is massive. Absolutely massive. What a run from Shiffrin there. Quickest on the second run as well from the American superstar. And that is a message for Lara Cooper Army. Cooper Army's been there before, though. She's battled American greats before and taken the top spot. She had colossal battles back through the years. Her and Lindsey Vonn used to duke it out on a weekly basis. And Cooper Army's got to do it again with another American. 200ths is all her advantage. And Michaela Shiffrin just had a Michaela Shiffrin second run. The experience of this young lady, though, nearly 300 World Cup starts, 32 wins, 60 top threes. She's no stranger to pressure, and she has the skill set if she can tap into it. And it's gone the wrong side. 800 she's lost so far, but do not count this lady off yet. Onto the steep. Don't pay too much attention to the start of Gubarami's turns. Look at the middle and the end. The amount of speed that she's taking out, that's her game plan down here, is to make sure that these exits are clean and aggressive. And she's moving through the turns, and she's managed to find some time. Here comes Lara Gubarami. Who saw this one coming? Here comes Barami now. Across the flat, she's got speed, pedigree. She's an absolute rocket in that tuck position. It's down to 100th of a second. It's going to go down to the wire. Lara Gubarami or Michaela Shiffrin. It's Shiffrin. It's Shiffrin. What a battle that was. 1400ths, the wrong side for Gubarami, the right side for Michaela Shiffrin. And what a battle that was. If this is a marker for the season, we are in for an absolute treat, ladies and gentlemen. Lara Gubarami went for it, and she went for it in some aggressive fashion. Look at how much she was cutting the line, but Shiffrin managing to rise to the top with a perfect lower quarter of this run. And it was oh so close for the Swiss fans. And Michaela Shiffrin starts off this season with a W in the column. Congratulations to the top three. What a run, what a race this was. Michaela Shiffrin, Lara Gubarami and Petra Vlhova, the names you expect to see at the top of women's giant slalom ski racing, at the top of Solden's podium. Quality results. Great result for Maria Theresa Tveberg of Norway after a stellar second run, moves up to 5th position. Valerie Grenier manages to salvage a top 10 with a 7th position. Tessa Worley gets 8th. Nina O'Brien 9th. Siebenhofer in 10th. Alex Robinson in 11th. Alex Tilley of Great Britain equals her best ever result in World Cup Giant Slalom with a 13th position. So congratulations from Bib 40. That's a quality run from Alex Tilley. But we have been treated to a terrific first round of this FIS Audi Alpine Skiing World Cup.